Have you ever said, I'm not exactly sad, I just don't enjoy anything? You may still be going to work, you may still be talking and taking care of your family. You may even smile, laugh at the right time, and tell everybody, I am fine. But inside, something feels missing. The food doesn't taste as exciting, the music does not create the same feeling. You stop looking forward to seeing friends. You may love your family deeply, but somehow you cannot feel that love in the same way. This experience has a name. It is called anhedonia. Anhedonia is one of the most misunderstood symptoms of depression. Today, I'm going to explain what anhedonia is, what may be happening inside your brain, why losing pleasure does not mean that you are lazy, ungrateful, or permanently broken. Most importantly, we'll talk about how your brain can begin to reconnect with pleasure again. Hello, and welcome to Your Brain Explained. I am Dr. Sanjay Nigam. I'm a psychiatrist, and in this program, we take complicated ideas from psychiatry, neurosciences, and psychology and translate them into plain English. No complicated lecture, no $10 medical words when a 10-cent word will work. And no pretending that the brain is simple, because it is not, but it can be explained. Today we are talking about anhedonia. The word sounds complicated, but the meaning is straightforward. An means without, hedonia refers to pleasure. So anhedonia literally means without pleasure. But even that definition does not fully capture what you may be experiencing. Sometimes it is more like the volume of your life has been turned down. You may still be functioning. You may know intellectually that something is supposed to feel good, but emotionally the signal does not feel fully arrived. It is like watching a beautiful movie with the sound turned off. You can see what is happening, you know it should move you, but you cannot quite feel it. Let me give you an example. One of my patients said it was her 6-year-old daughter's birthday. She prepared the birthday party for her daughter. The daughter was cutting the cake. Everybody is singing the song, Happy Birthday to You. She was also singing the song. She had a smile on her face, but she was not present in that moment. She was not able to enjoy it. And she started to feel, is she good enough? Is she a good mom? Anhedonia is more than sadness. When you think about depression, you may think about sadness, like crying, hopelessness, maybe staying in bed. But depression does not always look sadness. For many people, the most disabling part of depression is not feeling sad. It is feeling nothing. You may say, hey doc, I know I love my children, but I don't feel the warmth. Or patient will say to me, I used to love gardening, now I look at the garden and it feels like another job. Or my friends invite me out, but I already know I won't enjoy it. So why should I bother to go? This is very important because anhedonia can affect not only the pleasure you experience during an activity, it can also affect your ability to anticipate pleasure. In other words, your brain stops believing that something feels rewarding. That changes your behavior. You stop making plans. You stop reaching out. You don't plan things. And then other people may misunderstood what is happening. They may say, you need to try harder. You are not doing good enough. You need to get out of the house more. You have so much to be grateful for. They all mean well, But gratitude and pleasure are not the same brain process. You can understood that you have a good family, a good home, or a good life, but still be unable to feel pleasure. It means the brain system involved in the motivation and reward may not be functioning normally. Let's look at it what is happening inside your brain. Your brain has a collection of circuits that help answer several important questions. Is this important? Should I pay attention to it? Should I move forward? Was it rewarding? Should I do it again? This circuit involves multiple parts of your brain, including areas deep inside the brain and parts of the frontal lobe. You may hear names like nucleus accumbens, the ventral tegmental area, and the prefrontal cortex. The important idea is that pleasure is not created by one single happiness center. It is created by network. Different part of that network help with wanting. I want to do something. Motivation. I want to get up and do something. Anticipation. If I go somewhere or I am with my friend, I will enjoy it. Learning, attention, and the actual experience of pleasure. One of the chemicals involved in this system is dopamine. I usually call dopamine as a survival chemical. It is more commonly called the pleasure chemical. That description is not completely accurate. Dopamine is not simply the chemical that makes you happy. It is more involved in motivation, learning, anticipation, and deciding that something is worth pursuing. I sometimes explain dopamine as a part of your brain ancient survival system. For early human beings, dopamine helped the brain say that food may help you survive. That person may be important to me. That opportunity may be worth your energy. So dopamine is not just about pleasure. It's partially about your brain deciding this matter and move towards it. In Anhedonia, that signal may become weaker. You may still know that an activity used to matter, but your brain is no longer generating the same motivation to pursue it. Imagine that your brain has an internal salesperson. Normally, that salesperson says, "Come on, let's go for it. Let's go for a walk. You will feel better. Call your friend. You will enjoy talking. Play some music. You love that song." But during Anhedonia, that salesperson stopped showing up for work. Or maybe the salesperson is still there, but is whispering from another room. Wanting and liking are two different things. Scientists sometimes separate rewards into at least two components: wanting something and liking something. Wanting is your motivation to pursue it. Liking is the pleasure you experience once you get it. These two processes overlap, but they are not identical. You may struggle mostly with wanting. You may not feel motivated to leave the house, call someone, or begin an activity. But when you finally do it, you may enjoy at least part of the experience. Like you didn't want to go to your family gathering, but you actually go there. And if you focus and look at it, you have moments where you're part of being there. Or you may complete the activity but still experience very little pleasure. You may also struggle with both wanting and liking. This is why simply being told to do something fun may not work. If you tell your friend, "Go watch a movie and you will enjoy it," then the Anhedonia, just going to a theater or watching a TV or streaming, your brain may not be producing the expectation that the activity will be worth the effort. You may not enjoy it. When the expected reward is low, Even a small task can feel enormous. Getting dressed may feel like work. Having meet a friend may feel exhausting. Choosing a restaurant may feel pointless. The problem is not necessarily that you don't care. The effort feels real, but the reward feels uncertain. You may start to withdraw. Now we can understand how difficult cycle develops. First, you anticipate less pleasure. Because you expect less pleasure, you participate in fewer activity. Because you participate less, you have fewer opportunity for positive experience. Your world becomes smaller. And as your world becomes smaller, your brain receives even fewer rewarding signals. This can create a loop. Less anticipation, less activity, less reward, more isolation, more depression. Then the guilt gets added to the cycle. You may think, what is wrong with me? I have a good family. Why can't I enjoy them? Why am I ruining everything? That guilt creates more stress. And more stress can make your reward system even less responsive. This is why anhedonia should not be treated as a character flaw. It is a symptom. It is information. Your brain is telling that something in your reward, motivation, or emotional processing system is not working properly. Anhedonia does not only occur in depression. Anhedonia is strongly associated with depression, bipolar depression, trauma, schizophrenia, chronic stress, substance use, certain medical illness, especially sleep deprivation. Some of the medication can have this effect. Sometimes you may describe your experience as anhedonia when what you are actually experiencing is emotional blunting. These experiences can overlap, but they are not always identical. With emotional blunting, you may feel that all your emotions have been reduced. Not only pleasure, but sadness, excitement, love, anger, and emotional intensity in general. You may say, I don't feel depressed anymore, but I don't feel like myself either. That can sometimes be related to your illness. It can sometimes be related to medication. And sometimes it is a combination. This is an important conversation to have with your clinician. But do not stop with medication suddenly on your own. A careful evaluation is needed to understand whether the numbness is part of your depression, or is it medication side effect, or something else. Recovery is still possible. One frustrating part of the treatment is that different symptoms may improve at different speed. You may become more functional, but pleasure and motivation may take longer to return. Your family may see improvement and say, you seem better. You may say, I'm functioning better, but I still don't feel alive. Both observations may be correct. Recovery is not one switch turning from off to on. It's often a sequence. Your brain may first regain some stability, may get some energy, then the concentration, focus may improve, motivation may start to come back, then the ability to anticipate and experience pleasure started to come back. Not everyone followed that exact order. But the larger point is this. Being able to function again does not always mean that you have fully recovered. Your clinician should ask more than, are you less sad? You should be asked, are you enjoying anything? Sometimes you may struggle by answering this question, am I enjoying more? But sometimes small things bring enjoyment and we ignore that enjoyment. Sitting outside, enjoying the nature, listening to birds sing, even Sometimes doing small things, being able to get up and do dishes at home is important, even though you may feel these may be chores you're doing. Then the other question is, are you looking forward to do? I often ask my patient, do you feel connected to other people you care about? When you are in company of other people, are you able to enjoy that moment? Are you present in that moment? If something is good happening, you're able to connect. If something bad is happening, you're able to feel it. Do you feel more interested in your own life or around people? These are important measures of your recovery. There is no single treatment that works for everyone. Your treatment will depend on the cause, your diagnosis, the severity of your symptoms, your previous treatment, and your medical conditions and your individual needs. For most of my patients for depression related anhedonia, treatment may include psychotherapy, behavioral activation, and in most of my treatment resistant cases, advanced treatments such as TMS, esketamine, and even ketamine will work. Let's begin with behavioral activation. Behavioral activation is based on simple but difficult ideas. Sometimes you cannot wait for motivation before taking action. You may have to take a small action first and allow motivation to follow later. This does not mean forcing yourself into a 5-hour social event when you can barely get out of the bed. It means choosing a small, realistic action. Sit outside for 5 minutes. Listen to one song. Walk to the mailbox. Text one trusted person. Prepare one simple meal. Take a shower and change your clothes. Your goal is not, I must enjoy things that create pressure. Your goal is, I'm giving my brain an opportunity to receive a positive signal. At first, that signal may be very weak. You may sit outside and feel almost nothing. That does not necessarily mean that you failed. You are beginning to rebuild a path. Think of it like a physical rehabilitation. If you had an injured leg, no one would expect you to run 5 miles on the first day. You would begin with small movements. Your brain also needs repetition. And that's where psychotherapy can also help. It can help you identify the thoughts and the behavior that keep the cycle going. One example is, I will not enjoy it, so there is no point. I'm going to get disappointed, and I'm going to disappoint everyone at the party. Therapy can help you test these predictions rather than automatically accepting them. It can also help you reconnect with your values. Pleasure is important, but your life cannot always be organized around pleasure. Sometimes you take action because something matters to you before it feels rewarding. You may spend 10 quiet minutes with your child, not because you expect immediate joy, but because being present is consistent with the kind. That means action can gradually create opportunities for emotional reconnection. Can medication help? Yes, medication may also help depending on your condition. Different medication affect different brain system and every person respond differently. You may improve with a standard antidepressant. You may experience less sadness, continue to feel emotionally flat, or you may need a different medication strategy. This is why your treatment should be based on your full symptom picture, not only a depression score. A score can tell us that your symptoms are, but it may not tell us whether music sounds good again. It may not tell us whether you are laughing with your family. It may not tell us whether you are beginning to imagine a future that you want to participate in. Those details matter. One of my patients said to me recently that since her early childhood, she is not a morning person. And she has been going to work for 10 plus years. And she was never looked forward to getting up early, get a makeup on, and she would just rush to work and she would try to take a shower. Now, with the treatment, she says, something changed. Get up on time in the morning, put my makeup on, which I haven't done, and I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for myself. Then I go, get my coffee, go to my work, and get my work done. I have not been able to do it for years. I'm enjoying things. I'm enjoying myself. Those details matter. One of the questions I've been asked, does transcranial magnetic stimulation helps? Or TMS. TMS uses magnetic pulses to stimulate specific brain circuit involved in the calculation. I often explain it in simple language by saying, TMS helps resynchronize your brain. That does not mean brain is literally a clock. TMS repeatedly stimulates a targeted region with the goal of helping the larger network function. How does Spravato or esketamine help? Esketamine works differently from traditional antidepressant. Rather than focusing primarily on serotonin, it affects the glutamate system, which is deeply involved in learning, adaptation, and communication with the brain cells. In simple language, esketamine helps shape or reshape your brain. Again, that does not mean it magically creates a brand new brain overnight. It refers to neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to change, adapt, and form or strengthen connection. But the medication alone is not the entire story. A more adaptable brain still needs healthy experience, structured relationship, therapy, sleep, repeated opportunities to build a better. The treatment opens a new window. What you do during that window still matters. You do not have to chase a traumatic feeling. One mistake you make during recovery is looking for a dramatic moment. You may expect to wake up one morning and suddenly feel completely numb. That can happen, but often improvement is quiet. You notice that you laughed at something without forcing it. You realize you are listening to an entire song. Respond to text instead of ignoring it. You begin thinking about what you might do next weekend. You taste your food a little more. You notice the weather. You feel irritated by something. And strangely, even irritation feels encouraging because at least you are feeling something. Your recovery may first appear in small moments. Do not dismiss those moments. They may be the evidence your brain is beginning to reconnect. It may help to tell your family, I still care about you. I'm just having difficulty feeling connected right. One of the other question is, when shall I seek help? Anhedonia deserves professional attention, especially when it persists, interfere with your daily functioning, or occur with other symptoms such as hopelessness, helplessness, sleep changes, appetite changes, with severe anxiety, declining self-care, or thoughts about death or suicide. If you're having thoughts of harming yourself or feel unable to remain safe, seek urgent professional help or call 911, 988, or emergency assistant immediately. Anhedonia can make your future feel empty, but the feeling that nothing will improve is a symptom, not a reliable prediction. So, what you should remember from today: anhedonia is the reduced ability to anticipate or experience pleasure. It is not laziness, it is not selfishness, it is not a lack of gratitude. And it does not mean that you have stopped loving your family. The first sign of improvement may not be happiness. It may be simply be curiosity, a little interest, a moment of connection, a small thought that say, maybe I could do that. That small signal matters because pleasure often does not return as a flood. Sometimes it returns as a flicker. With the right treatment, support, and repetition, that flicker can become stronger. Your brain is not broken. It may be stuck in a painful pattern, and brain can change. Thank you for joining me for this episode, Your Brain Explained. I am Dr. Sanjay Nigam. In the next episode, we will continue translating the science of mental health language that makes sense and hopefully gives you a little more understanding, a little more hope. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, when you understand what your brain is doing, it becomes easier to stop blaming yourself for what you are feeling. See you next time.